The map in the middle shows people per square mile. So what it does a good job of is showing population density or where people live. Over here on the right are the top 30 cities ranked in Indiana based on population size, which is the column on the right. What I've done is I've colored them based on their location. Earlier in this chapter, we looked at the northern, central, and southern regions or delineations. And what I've done is I've shaded the ones that are in central Indiana in orange, the ones in northern Indiana in blue, and the ones in southern Indiana in green. And already you can see a particular pattern is there are a lot of cities that are in the top 30 where a lot of people live in Indiana that are in central Indiana. Also, a good amount there in northern Indiana, and then we can see in southern Indiana, it's definitely less populated, and also not as many major or large cities. So let's go ahead and identify the locations of the top 30 cities. And I'm going to go through them rather quickly. And also, as I'll go through, I might point out other particular towns or cities of note that we'll discuss sometime in the semester. So, of course, Indianapolis right there in the center part of the state. So it's centrally located, and so a lot of these other cities are surrounding cities that are either in the suburbs or nearby, in which enough people could live there and still work in the large Indianapolis workplace. There, a lot of downtown, a lot on the north side. Fort Wayne up here in Allen County in the northeastern part of the state. Evansville down here. So Evansville's down here on the Ohio River. South Bend right here, and it's located right next to Mishawaka, which is shown here number 19, and then also really close to Elkhart, which is shown in 17. So you have this South Bend, Mishawaka, Elkhart, and you can also see Goshen in here as well. So here is a large kind of urban area in which you have a couple cities that kind of spill over into other cities. Next up is the Carmel Fishers area, and so Carmel, Fishers, and then north of each of those is Westfield and Noblesville. So Westfield and Noblesville, fast-growing areas of the state. In fact, Hamilton County for the last 10, 20 years has been one of the fastest-growing one of the fastest-growing counties in the entire country. Bloomington is kind of here on the border between southern and central Indiana. In fact, some would say it's in southern Indiana, others would say it's in central Indiana. So it's right there along the border, you could say, but it's here just north of Lake Monroe. Next up are Hammond and Gary, which are right next to each other up here in Lake County, and these are going to be right next to Chicago, and so where Chicago spills over, Chicago located right about there where this particular mouse arrow is, and right here along the lake. Next up is Lafayette, which is right here, kind of in between Indianapolis and the Chicagoland area, so Lafayette. And once again, kind of, some would say northern, some would say central, but for the most part, we're going to think of it being a central Indiana city. Muncie or Funcie is over here. So it's a central Indiana city there, kind of on the border of what we would call eastern Indiana. So Muncie right here near I-69, Interstate 69. Next up is Terre Haute, which is way over here on the Illinois state line. So it's over here also kind of isolated, and so it serves its peripheral area. And so you have a core area that serves a surrounding periphery. Greenwood is a South Indy suburb. So Greenwood is not in Marion County. It's in Johnson County. It's in northern Johnson County. Kokomo is right up here on United States Highway 31. So it's on the way between Indianapolis and the South Bend urban area. So there's Kokomo. And it's also relatively close to Lafayette. So you'll see some connections there between Kokomo and Lafayette later in the semester. Anderson is about halfway between the Carmel Fishers area and Muncie. And so Anderson is right there, also along Interstate 69. West Lafayette is over on the other side of the river from Lafayette, and so it's kind of part of this urban area in which Lafayette blends over into West Lafayette. One of Indy's kind of urban areas or cities or towns within the Marion County area is Lawrence. It's the largest of them. There's also Speedway and Beech Grove, but Lawrence is there in Marion County, and it's essentially part of Indianapolis. And so now we have another one of our southern Indiana cities, and that's New Albany and Jeffersonville. So Jeffersonville and New Albany are right next to each other here down in here in the Louisville metropolitan area. Next up is Columbus, which you'll find just south of Indianapolis, and so it's a couple counties away, and so it's along Interstate 65, and Columbus isn't too far also from Bloomington, just across from Brown County from Bloomington. Up in northern part of Porter County, you have two large cities that also are part of the Chicagoland area here along the southern part of the lake. And this is Porter County. You're going to have Portage, but also Valparaiso. So Valparaiso is the 30th in our top 30, and Valparaiso right next to Portage here in Porter County. Plainfield is a western suburb of Indianapolis and right next to Avon and Brownsburg over here on the eastern side of Hendricks County. Over on the border with Ohio and a part of the Dayton metro area is Richmond. So Richmond is on Interstate 70, and it's this area over here. Finally, we've got Maryville. Maryville is another one of the particular towns and cities that are part of Chicagoland, and it's right there on Interstate 65 up here in Lake County. There's a whole host of other cities and towns of importance and relative to this particular course that we're going to focus in on. One of them is Madison. Madison's right here on the Ohio River. Another is over here called Vincennes. Vincennes, a very important early city. One of the key areas of southern Indiana that a lot of people don't know about is Jasper. And Jasper is located here. A lot of major industries or major companies located here in Jasper. A city that's really popped up after the railroads came through here and then later Interstate 65 is a town called Seymour. Other important cities in the Donut County surrounding Indianapolis are Shelbyville, which is in the center of Shelby County, Greenfield, which is in the center of Hancock County, and Zionsville, which is in the extreme southeast corner of Boone County and is very much part of the suburban Indianapolis area, and Lebanon, which is also another one of these centralized locations in which you have these cities that are right smack in the middle of a particular county. We're going to come back later in the semester and explain that. What maybe is the reason for that? Here is Crawfordsville. Up in the northern part of the state, some of the other interesting cities and towns include Marion, which is located right there, Huntington, Warsaw, Peru, Logansport, and Michigan City.